Alright guys, as many of you know, the Nerf subreddit has announced that Merch Masters is coming back. So what's on the menu this year? Well, let's start with a Strife. And what goes better with a Strife than a Raven? Yeah! Now, I know in the modern modding environment, Ravens are rather sacred and, oh, don't cut up Ravens and stuff, and don't make us Stravens, Stravens are evil. Well, that's where you're wrong. We're going to do things a little bit differently this time. So, basically, my thought being that there's the typical Straven cuts where you cut it off here, there's you cut it off around the battery door, then the other side there's the typical cut it out that way, and then when I did mine I decided to leave all this. Well, I'm going to take it a step further and really do it in a way that I've never seen done before, and I'm going to use basically as much of the Raven as possible. And my thought is that since we have a battery door back here, and yes, it won't house this, a huge lipo, and there's not a real wide variety of battery doors, extended doors and stuff like you can get for the Strife, but we're gonna make love to the Raven a little bit more than usual on this Straven, and this is gonna be much more than your typical Straven anyway. So just kind of buckle up and hang on, and we're just kind of trust me on this one. But I'm thinking, what I'm gonna do is, because I like the way the Raven grip works, and that's one of the biggest issues I've always had with Stravens, is that it really made the grip, the thumb hole connector piece here, always looked really kind of awkward, and it was just very obvious that, hey, this was an issue, and there's a lot of compromise to be made or whatever. So I think I'm going to use the Raven grip instead of the Strife grip. So I think what I'm going to do is, and I think I'm going to even maintain the rev trigger, and I'm basically going to cut out the Raven here, and I might even look into, I haven't compared the internals yet, but I might be able to even hook up the Raven trigger to the Strife linkage, and if that'll work, that will be just peachy keen. But worst case scenario, the areas here are rather similar, not perfect, but similar enough that I think I can cut basically like here and move this whole, basically cut off this much of the Raven. We'll cut off this much of the Raven, and then cut off this much of the Strife, and probably shave down the battery door a little bit, and we're going to overlap the whole darn thing. So we're going to have a Straven that looks like that. But wait, there's more! On the front, it's not just going to be your typical Strife with maybe a barrel attachment. What I've got going on, and you may have seen a sneak peek of sorts if you follow me on Instagram. That's a little Instagram plug right there. Link, as always, in the description below. I kind of hinted at this before, but what I had going on is if you do some fitting, this is a compromise issue here. I'm not sure if I'm going to eliminate more Strife or eliminate more front gun here to make everybody happy. But the top of the long shot front gun lines up pretty darn close with the top of the Strife and the top of the jam door, which I'm not too heartbroken about, because who really uses jam doors anymore? It's 2017. Who uses jam doors? This is, of course, a rather shortened barrel, but then I wasn't really sure. I don't have a solid plan of what to do up front, but I figured we'll just do the natural thing and we'll reuse the front gun and maybe move it back just a little bit or something, and of course eliminate this, because this will come back in here. Issue was that when the rules came out for the new competition, is that at least in the experienced group, you have to have at least one firing mode that fires a shotgun of some sort, at least one, more than one round, whatever ammo type you use. So I thought, well, crap, do I have to scrap all of my plans? Because there's not a whole lot of room under here, and I don't really want to compromise the aesthetics too much if I can help it. So I dug through my box, and I found one of these. And I thought, hey, I think I can work with this little air tank, so I whipped together this real quick, and it's the muzzle assembly from a, what the heck is it? It's the little 3-shot Busby blaster. But it I'll have to not sure what I'm going to do with the pump, but see how small I can make the pump and still make it practical. But this ought to take care of my shotgun thing. So technically it'll fit down in here somewhere, and hopefully I can do that to where I can, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for a trigger, but I should be able to hopefully like maybe have the hose up there and then run the pump underneath. Integrate the pump into maybe the priming thing here, so you go like pumpy pumpy pump and then find a button somewhere else. Not sure, but then this is the mag well clip area from a mag strike, and it's going to rest here as kind of a vector-esque kind of affair that'll basically won't cover up like the whole magazine, and it really serves no practical purpose, but I think it might look cool and, you know, kind of play off this line a little bit. And I'll probably rework this here, especially not knowing how this is going to blend in with this or whatever I decide to use here. But so that's kind of where things are going. It's yeah, that's a mess, but hopefully it's a cool mess. And technically, if everything goes well, the long shot front gun will run into the Raven, and the mag strike magwell thing will overlap into that. And so basically it'll be covering up the Strife again, because I like Strifes and all, but I don't really like how they look. So I guess we'll cover it up like I do with everything else. But that's kind of the plan of attack thus far. So look for updates on this in the future as the Merge Masters competition progresses.